Good evening, friends. Hello, I'm Cassandra Joan Butler, and this is Cosmic Connections for the week. So tonight, I want to talk about the quarter cycle that begins on Friday, and we'll talk about that. And I'm very curious to know how the past couple of days have been for you. Did you have a nice gathering of the tribe if you celebrate Easter or Passover over the weekend? It seems like a very long time ago. And did you hold your breath yesterday before 8 p.m.? The world certainly does feel like it's spinning out of control. And one of the things I've been working on really for a good year has been the Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries. And so I'm doing a retreat starting next Thursday on this. I call it the moment by moment retreat. And for those of you who are new to astrology, there are very special degrees in our zodiac, and they're called the world point or Aries point degrees. Because we've got 12 signs and we've got 4 what's called cardinal signs. The cardinal signs start the seasons. We start spring at 0 degrees of Aries. We start summer at 0 Cancer, 0 Libra is, of course, fall, and winter is 0 Capricorn. They form a square. It's called the cardinal square. So in my investigation on myself and with other clients and friends, every time these degrees get activated, this year especially, we feel this urgency to do something. And I find that to be an extraordinary healing motivation, because when the world out there seems to be too crazy, too unpredictable, we have to catch our breath and do something. And when you identify where this grand square falls in your chart, then you get motivated to create the best version of yourself, starting where you find 0 degrees of Aries in your chart. I did a little free workshop last night on this, and I'd be very, very happy to send that to you. All I have to do is send me a little email or a request, and I'll send you the recording. And it's a preliminary to the retreat, the online retreat I'll be doing next Thursday, which I call moment by moment, because every moment of our lives has meaning and not all moments are the same. For example, early today, we had Capricorn, 0 degrees, move into Capricorn, and it started to square. Let me give you the exact time here. Okay. Today is Wednesday, so the moon entered Capricorn at 8:04 in the morning. That's Eastern Daylight Time. And I felt that. I was, going about my business, my morning routine, started driving in to see my clients. And again, this is this morning. And all of a sudden I got bingo. Okay, 0 point. 0 point was affecting where I find 0 degrees of Aries in my chart, which is in the 6th house and the house of health. So for me, this 0 point is very meaningful because it's telling me going forward in my life, I have to pay special attention to work and health. And that really was a learning lesson in this past week for me. So 4 times a month, the moon starts to shake up that 0 point. And I hope I'm making sense. I'm trying to do a whole class with you tonight, but I'm just the phrase is a question. So this morning, friends, here's the question. Did you feel motivated to do something you've been wanting to do for a while this morning, somewhere between 8 in the morning and say noon Eastern time? You can make the allowances. And oh yes, hi Eileen, you were there last night. Yay. I hope that made sense to you last night. Hi Gail, hi Anne-Marie, hi Nancy, Hi, Barbara from California. Hello there, sweetie. Summer. Hi, Kat. All right. So Cancer rise. So you're Leo rising. You're a Cancer cat. So you want to figure out where zero Cancer is. Unless you were born the first day of summer, we want to see where zero Cancer is. You felt motivated to do something, a box of Rick's crackers, and maybe some regrets. Oh, come on, Ryan. That's not very seasonal. I made my Easter bread over the week, and you said you'd like a piece. We still have some Easter bread left over. It's a risen bread, right? It's very gluten filled and it's delicious. I make it every Easter. You're very welcome, Candy. Nice to see you. It really, I get motivated when I see your name, so I see you guys attending. It makes me happy. Christine and Cynthia. Good evening, Jerry. Good evening, Mary Petrus. 2 days in a row. You were at the class last night. I'll be sending that out to you. Hi, Penny. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Diane. So the bottom line is this, friends. Here's our thesis. In 2026, we had this amazing conjunction of the planet of reality, Saturn, and the planet of fantasy, Neptune, or dreams and spirituality holding hands with grumpy old man Saturn, which represents reality. And there's a lot of interpretations. A simple one is there a dream you want to ground? Because when you're paying attention to your dream, your individual sovereign dream, you won't be feeling so frustrated in the international scene. As much as we would like to maybe stop all war, all hate, paying attention to ourselves creates a vibration. I'll be talking a lot about vibration in this retreat because 2026 is the year when Uranus, which is the madcap scientist, is going to be interacting with Pluto, which is transformation and humanity. It really starts doing the dance in July, but it becomes perfected or exact on November 29th of this year. What that means for us is that we're learning on a very real level how our attitudes, our emotions, our thoughts, our cognitions, our intentions can be elevated in a vibratory way. It's the year of vibration, things we can't touch, see, or feel, but it still makes a huge impact on the outer world. You know, the idea of throwing a piece of rock into a still pond and it makes ripples. So I'm excited about this work, and I would invite you to reflect again this morning if you are feeling this sense of, oh, I have an unfinished fill in the blank and I have an idea for it. You might be in the middle of something else, right? Maybe getting your oil changed in your vehicle or driving to work. But I have to do this one thing, and that gets repeated 4 times a month. It's also going to be very strong the remainder of this week. Now, let me explain. I feel a little naked tonight because I don't know why, my computer's not cooperating with uploading the chart for our lunation. So I'll tell you with words what's happening, but I won't have the pictorial for you. Here's what's happening. If you are in the Pacific time zone, Barbara, on Thursday we have our quarter cycle, and that takes place for you and everyone else in the Pacific time zone, 9:52 p.m. At 12:52 a.m. on Friday the 10th, we have that half quarter cycle. And this is a pivotal point of our month's lunation. We have that beautiful quarter cycle. We see a half moon, and it represents a time of sewing up our intentions that we've had percolating since the 18th of March. All right? Long time ago. And so it's a time of focused work, focused attention, really from Thursday and Friday until we restart on the 17th of April with the new moon in Aries. Does that make sense? So we're going to be motivated to get a lot accomplished in the next week, beginning on Thursday, Friday. And there are opportunities to be more focused hypothetically during the quarter cycle. So the Sabian symbol of the moon in Capricorn, because the moon will be squaring the sun at 20 degrees of Aries, is a relay race. A relay race. The suggestion there is that we're all into everything together. We're relying in a relay race with the next person that we're relaying the torch or whatever, the baton to the next person, that we can do more together than separately. An interpretation of the relay race for the next week is interchange. I'll give you a simple example of that. It's not taking place. Well, actually, it's taking place on Friday, interestingly enough. I'm not terribly mechanical, but I have an issue with a property and it's water. I have a broken pipe, and I thumbs. I can't fix this broken pipe in my little property, my little cottage. So I called a contact. I'm relying on this relay who's worked on my cottage before, and he said, "Yeah, I'll be down there on Friday. I'll fix it for you. I will just do that." Wow! I haven't talked to him or seen him in 2 years. Isn't that amazing? Dynamic interchange. I'm relying on a relay. I'm relaying something. So you may find that a task that you need to do, but you need help with. And you can rely on this idea of dynamic interchange. So that starts technically on Friday or late Thursday for the whole week to finish up tasks that have been on your mind. So that's one thing about this lunation. The other thing is the moon is going to be sextiling Jupiter. And Jupiter means expansion and abundance. And Jupiter's been very emotional. It's been in Cancer. So we might be somewhat aware of our emotions, over the top with them in the next week. And watch displays of anger, because Mars is going to be at 0 degrees of Aries, the first time since that magical day of February 20th, when Saturn and Neptune were together at 0 Aries. Now, Mars is the first time that it's going to be connecting with that magical 0-point degree. That takes place on Thursday, by the way. So watch your moods, watch your anger, watch your expressions, your assertiveness around 3:36 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that's on Thursday. So it's part of what we go through for the next week. And it's going to be very interesting. The moon also tomorrow at 5:10 in the afternoon will be opposite Jupiter. So be aware that you might be impatient or aggravated. Again, moment by moment, things will change. So today is kind of the day when we're thinking about wanting to get things done, but we get really kind of fired up tomorrow, Thursday, and definitely by Friday. The other thing about this particular lunation this upcoming week, and I'm really grateful for this, because yes, things are not completely peaceful in the Middle East, but we have a ceasefire for this moment, unless I am remiss on that. I've talked about this many times in the past many months. Chiron is moving off the chaotic degree of Eris, and that's been affecting the entire world. And whenever it comes together, there's like a vibratory impatience. We're sick of chaos. We, the collective we. So Chiron is beginning to move off that magical point this week. The other thing is Mercury and Pallas Athena are together in the sky. So it's looking at ways for you personally to advocate for something that's important to you, whatever that something might be. It could be an ideology, it could be a pet, it could be anyone that you want to protect and advocate for. So that is another theme for the next week. For all of us, let's go through the different signs. We have these types of nuggets for you. If you are Aries or Aries rising, the lunation is affecting your career, your leadership, and your ability to be in the driver's seat. So be aware, Aries, you're going to receive attention and step into your leadership role. For Taurus or Taurus rising, the next week brings you clarity of thought and clarity of expression. So if you're a teacher or you're a writer or a consultant, you'll be very much aware of how you're sharing your wisdom with others. For Gemini or Gemini rising, this upcoming week may be triggering that momentary thought, what am I doing with my long-term finances? How can I fix it? How can I stabilize things? How can I make myself feel more financially secure for the long haul? For Cancer or Cancer rising, this upcoming lunation is asking you to become a better partner, to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to become a little bit more empathic for your significant others and be that person that people can rely on. For Leo or Leo rising, you'll be looking at your work and your health and ways to work your health so you can work better and stronger, right? The two are intermingled, really, right? Because if you're feeling well, you can work better. Virgos have fun. Virgos tap into your creativity and your joy and your playfulness in the upcoming week. Libra, take a look at what's going on in your home life. Maybe you just want to do that spring cleaning, or you want to reconnect with your family members, which makes sense for me. I'm going to be going to a baby shower with one of my cousins over the weekend. I'm really excited about that. Any excuse to get together with the extended family. I'm Libra rising. If you're Scorpio or Scorpio rising, this upcoming week is asking you to connect with the Time Lords. And I'm doing a double entendre for you right now because on the Cosmic Intelligence Agency site, you too can receive a copy of Time Lords free publication. It's a fabulous magazine. But if you happen to be a Scorpio or Scorpio rising, you're going to be a little bit more interested in time management, right? So I got both things in the same nugget. If you're Sagittarius or Sagittarius rising, this new lunation is about financial growth, self-esteem, feeling better about how you're managing your money. For Capricorn, all eyes are on you. Be the authority that you truly are. Feel good about what you're doing in the world and how you're managing yourself and helping others. Aquarius, this upcoming week is about resting a little bit, meditating a little bit, praying a little bit, maybe getting away from the maddening crowd and just being. And Pisces, get out and be social. This lunation is asking you to connect with friends and groups, associations, and having some fun. All right, there you go. And big hello to everybody here. Again, Ryan's eating his crackers. Hi, Deb. Hi, Gail. You felt motivation and happiness today. Fabulous, Candy. I like that. Yes, last night made sense. Great, Eileen. Okay. Oh, thank you, Mary, for the fabulous. Do what I do and stop watching the news. Your life will do a complete 180. Exactly, Ryan. Again, the focus on self, and because you don't want to allow your precious life to be caught up in fear and loathing and anger and misfiring. We only have one life in this body. And that's the message of 2026. 0 degrees of Aries. Treasure it and nurture it. And that's the reason I'm doing this retreat. Hello, Elizabeth. Hello. Yes, your computer may be getting an early dose of surprise. Thank you, Ryan, for that. You're absolutely right. And also during the retreat, we'll be talking a lot about Uranus going into Gemini. Woohoo! On the 25th of April, friends. Hi, Jojo. Good evening. Okay. Yes. I'm glad to settle down too, Rhonda. You will be angry for about 2 weeks with your singing. No, you can't make me angry. Sorry, you can't, Ryan. You're just too sweet of a Pisces. Hey, Mary. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Jennifer. Cheryl, I'm glad you're here. Hi, Linda. Nice to see you. Let's do our readings. Hi, Jody. Hi, Lorianne, Jennifer, Marcy Ann, Cheryl. A message time, friends. Hi, Linnell. Great to see you guys. I hope I said hi to everybody. Dear God, please allow me to serve. Please allow my words be filled with love, light, truth, inspiration, and healing for the highest, for the best, as we align ourselves with the Holy Spirit. And I have Linnell. Hello, Linnell. I would like to come to you, my friend. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Diane. As I'm tuning into you, Linnell, what I want to say is that I feel that you're energetically have gotten through a doorway of greater peace and serenity. And I feel you have been working on some spiritual tools to achieve that. It's almost like you've gone through this testing ground, and I'm visibly seeing a doorway, an initiation into some new spiritual practice or something that you're doing that's keeping like the blood pressure, like really, you can just share it if it makes sense to everybody, because I think we all can learn from you, Linnell. But you're really in this very Zen place. And I want to say this goes back to the middle of January. Whatever practice you have been doing, you know how we always say practice, like spiritual practices? Because we have to keep on practicing because otherwise it goes away. But Linnell, something's changed with your energy. And you've got, again, the middle, without that Capricorn lineup in 2026 was forcing you to really embrace a new serenity. That's number one. Number two, I'm feeling a gentleman from Spirit. And he comes in here with almost like a fedora hat. You know, he's very handsome. And he's like posing in my mind's eye of being, I think it was a real person. I don't think he's a guide. A real person who had that serenity always about him. But even though he's wearing a fedora hat, we might think of a business person. He was also very much attached to the country and to gardening and growing things. And but he was also maybe a broker of I don't know, products from the earth. So he wasn't just the farmer, he was the broker of the farmer. And this feels, it could have been a grandfather or a great uncle or something along these lines. But he's been with you all of your life as a force of positivity and comfort. And as I'm also tuning into you tonight, Linnell, I want to say that I get very excited about July for you. There's going to be a lot of travel and some teaching and some adventuring and some beautiful vistas. I'm feeling July of 2026. And I'll just leave that with you tonight. And thank you for being such a frequent flyer here to Cosmic Connections. Many blessings to you. All right. Our next person tonight is with Mary Russo. Hi, Mary. May I come to you, please? Mary, as I'm tuning into you, I'm feeling the tremendous emotional, I feel a tremendous emotion in my chest. And it's very maternal. It's like I'm wishing, maybe it has something to do with the holiday that was just past, Easter holiday. I don't know if your mother's in spirit or a grandmother, but a very big hug from a maternal figure, and missing this person because of some of the rituals that you no longer are able to share with her. And I'm also getting some information to share with you about your legs or your feet, and you're working on improving mobility and soaking the feet or getting reflexology. I'm being attracted to working on foot improvement for some reason. Mary, please give me some feedback on that. And then the third thing I'm seeing is, I don't know if you know your chart. I don't know that, but I'm seeing the word Libra in your chart. There's a lot more reconciliation and peace in a relationship that was causing some stress, because you're accepting the significant other in such a way so there's less of that trying to make them better, and you're just saying this is who they are, and so I'm accepting this relationship in a more perfected way. And I'm looking ahead. Are you going to someplace mountainous? Are you planning somewhere? I don't even know where you live offhand, Mary, but I'm seeing some mountains, and it feels more like along the lines on the eastern seaboard of the United States, like the Great Smokies or something like that, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia. So thank you for being here tonight, and please give me some feedback, Mary Russo. Okay. All right, dear friends. Thank you for being here tonight, and watch how things unfold in the next week. Your motivation to complete tasks that you may have been thinking about since the end of March, and then get prepared because the new moon in Aries will be taking place next week, and I'll be talking about that. And have a beautiful week. Many blessings to you.